Welcome back to Road to Fire. We're a family of three documenting our journey to fire, financial independence, retire early. Let's talk about how to invest for your child. Like always, I will provide all real numbers in our son's brokerage account through the 21st, and I'll outline our future investment strategy, so please hang with me. So the goal is to leave my son with $150,000. Or let me rephrase this. We would like to give him at least $150,000 with hopes of this increasing over time as our income increases. I am one of seven and received no monetary support from my parents for college or any other life event. I didn't expect anything, but would love to set my son up with a bit of a head start or level out the playing field with a nest egg once he turns 18 or 21. So there are two ways you can invest for your child or children. You can either open up a 529 plan or a custodial account called either an UTMA or an UGMA. But first let me say, do your own research for your specific states as plans may vary. A 529 plan is an education savings account specifically intended for educational expenses. 529 plans can be only funded with cash contributions, and the investment options are often limited to more conservative securities like mutual funds and ETFs. The investment does grow tax-free, and the account holder can spend on college expenses like tuition, fees, room and board, but also elementary or secondary school tuition as well. 529 plans have contribution limits per the beneficiary across all accounts, but check your states for details. On the other hand, an UTMA or UGMA is a type of custodial account. An adult, for example, like a parent or family member, opens a custodial account on behalf of a minor to allow them to hold assets. UTMAs or UGMAs accounts can hold many types of assets, including money, securities like stocks and bonds, even real estate, and the investment options are usually flexible and also in your control. One thing to note is that with any custodial account, once the child becomes 18 or 21, depending on the state, they have 100% control of the account. So imagine for a second an 18-year-old with access to $150,000. That is a little bit scary. Keep in mind the tax differences between these accounts. 529 plans offer robust tax advantages since the earnings and withdrawals are not subject to federal income taxes or even sometimes state taxes. Additionally, depending on your state, you may be able to claim a state income tax deduction for these contributions. But for custodial accounts, the first $2,100 in unearned income, dividends, capital gains, and interest on your contribution may be tax-free, but anything over that is subject to the tax rate for estates and the trust. Keep in mind, there are no contribution limits for an UTMA or an UGMA account. However, be mindful of the gift tax. For now, we opted for an UTMA, but might change in the future. So if you're familiar with our videos, you know that we invest across 4 different platforms and each platform has a different purpose. Our Fidelity accounts hold our company-sponsored 401k plans. My last several jobs have used Fidelity, and this platform works well for us. We use Robinhood for our individual stock picks, and I made a video with details on our current holdings, and I can link that here. We then have Vanguard for all of our other accounts, including our Roths, our Sons, UTMA, and our IRAs. And then we use Health Equity for our HSA with my new employer. These platforms work best for us for now. They may not be the best ones out there, but they do the job. So our projected fire number as of right now is $2.45 million. Obviously, this doesn't align with the 4% rule. If you backed into this number, you'll find our run rate to be about $98,000 a year. But if you've watched any of our budget videos, you'll know that our expenses run closer to $4,200 a month. In sum, we put a large buffer into our number. Our fire number right now is based on our plan investment strategy. For cash, we aim to have about $100,000 on hand, which would be a 2.5-year emergency fund. This may seem like a lot, but we would love to retire abroad and wanted to be on the safer side. We'll then have about $300,000 in real estate equity in duplexes we acquire over time. Then we'll have about $1.9 million in stocks. This will essentially be our true fire number, because this will fund our early retirement alongside rental income. And then we plan to have or give about $150,000 to our son for his quote-unquote college fund. I will explain why we don't really see this as a college fund in a second. This is our current plan, which all of our trackers are based on, but by the end of this year, I'm sure this will change. We are discussing and planning for some proposed life-changing events that I will outline in an upcoming video. But is $150,000 going to be enough in 2035? Will this be good enough jumpstart for my son? I don't know, to be honest. I feel based on how things are going, probably won't be enough. What if my son decided on grad school or skips schooling altogether and decides the entrepreneurial route? I can't plan for everything, but I got a gut feeling that this won't be enough in the future. But here's his current investment portfolio. We switched his account to an UTMA versus an UGMA, as this account includes real property as well. His current portfolio balance as of earlier this week is $15,581. Based on our plan, we are just over 10% to hitting our goal, and he's only 3. One reason why we think we can push his investment target a little bit up because we're kind of ahead of our target timeline. He also has about $2,300 in cash in a Capital One savings account, where all of his monthly withdrawals come from. This account holds all of his birthday, family, or holiday monetary gifts. My parents are old school and always opt for cash for holidays, and we deposit this into his account. 2 times a month, we transfer money over to his brokerage account automatically with Vanguard. It's a really simple strategy. His total quote unquote net worth is just over $17,900, although to me, he's worth a wee bit more. We didn't really have an investment strategy for him, and we put everything into VTSAX. But I am contemplating being a bit more riskier with his account as one, he's 3, and 2, he has time on his side. So there might be some upside coming in this year for a little bit different portfolio strategy. But for simplicity's sake, I am happy with his current strategy. Overall, I think we're in a good place so far. So the number one reason we opted for UTMA right now over a 529 plan is because college might not be the path for my son. I wholeheartedly believe that college is not the only path to success. And this is coming from somebody with an MBA. I want to make sure that my son has the option to choose what makes sense for him. It could be trade school, med school, taking a leap year or two, entrepreneurship, real estate, music, or whatever he desires, just as long as he has the options. Wouldn't it be nice if we pushed our children to follow what they love versus what pays the most money? But let's be real for a second. Most parents invest for their child for college. So what is the average cost of college right now? Based on an article I recently read, the average cost for private college is about $41,000 a year. For state residents, $11,000, and public college are just shy of $27,000 a year. Now, I'm sure these numbers don't include housing, meal plans, which are always ridiculous, books, studying abroad, and so forth. Now, we all know college tuition is rising at an alarming rate year over year. So imagine the cost of college in 2035. This is where the $150,000 doesn't seem like it'll be enough. Personally, in 2010, when I graduated, I was lucky to have a full tuition scholarship that covered over $165,000. And that was back in 2010. Yes, I went to a small Catholic private school, but you get the point. College tuition is going to be very expensive in the future. But get this, big name companies are starting to ditch college degrees because they are realizing what we already know, that having a degree doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a great employee. Companies such as Google, Apple, Nordstrom, Costco, Bank of America, IBM, and a few others are starting this new trend. There are many people who are intelligent, able, smart, capable, and so forth, but they just don't excel in a college setting. These people can still be great candidates for jobs at top companies such as these. Don't get me wrong, I believe my degrees were 100% necessary back in 2010 and 2016. But if we fast forward 10 years or even 15 years, I don't know if I'll be saying the same thing. We live in an evolving world and paths to success will no longer be linear. It will be interesting to see what other companies will join this movement in the next decade or so. So what will this portfolio look like in 15 years? Based on our current strategy, can we even hit our goal? I'm curious to outline a few investment strategies to see what might be the best path moving forward. Maybe we should change our investment strategy and get a bit more aggressive. The thing is, we have time. Unlike our FIRE investment number, which has a much shorter timeline, we have 15 years before my son leaves our home, so we can make adjustments as we go. So I found an investment calendar on Smart Asset to outline what our investment would look like in the future. Here are the parameters we put in. We put in our current investment at about $15,500 and our current monthly contribution of about $300 and assumed an 8% return on the market. By the end of the year, our investment should be around $20,000, which is doable. And by the end of 2035, we should be just over $150,000, which would definitely hit our goal almost perfectly. But keep in mind, these are just assumptions and I can't predict the market. Now, if you dive into the numbers deeper, you can see a large growth potential for us. Right now, the calculator has our contribution staying the same over the next 15 years, and that's not going to be true. I can say that with certain. We will definitely be increasing our contributions to this account year over year, especially as our income increases. Last year, we were giving about $275,000 a month, and we upped it to $300 a month this year. And if things goes as planned, this number should continue to grow. So we could definitely see a path to hitting our goal and some, which is very exciting. My son and any child you are investing for is very lucky. They have time and the power of compounding working on their side. I'm happy we opted for a custodial account because it almost plays as a mini fire starter kit for my son in the future. No clue what he will be doing with the money, but I'm happy to be able to provide him with something more than I was given. We will probably adjust our fire number by the end of the year. It's clear that the $150,000 is doable, and we can probably stretch this goal a little bit higher. Increasing my son's future college or trust fund won't change our timeline as we will still be tracking towards our $1.9 million investment goal. It will only increase my son's future net worth over time. Right now, I'm fine where we are, but in Q3, we'll probably make some adjustments. But if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe below. Until next time.